good evening, or do I mean good evening? Welcome to Spurs Kings TV, and it's the match reaction to Aston Villa today. You've got me, Marlon, the host, and I'll bring out my guest in a minute. In a week of season ticket prices, in a week of, Arsenal going top of the league for the weekend and staying there, Spurs pull out a vintage performance today. And I don't think any of the guests can argue with that. But it finished Aston Villa 0, Tottenham 4, which leaves us not many points behind Villa now, and it's all in our hands. But forget me, let me get out the guests. So first of all, a good welcome, Ian. Hope you are well.
Hi, Marlon. Yeah, how can you not be well? If you're not well tonight and you're a Spurs supporter, you're dead from the neck up. Go see a doctor or an undertaker, because we all are delighted tonight. We should all be delighted.
Next welcome, Justin. Are you well?
I am well. The only downside, and I do agree with what Ian's saying, but the only downside is Arsenal were top of the league. So that's the only thing you would take from that.
And the only person who can bring this mood down, right? And I know he's gonna bring this down. My next guest, right? And I can't wait to hear what he says, because I've heard some outrageous things by him already. But hopefully, he just judges the game and not the rest of the season. But let me get the ratings killer out here. It's Mr. Box Office. Alex, my mate, are you well?
I'm good. I've said some stuff on my channel about Mr. Box Office TV about what my appearance on We Are Tottenham TV.
I've not seen it yet. I admit, I haven't seen it yet.
I'll tell you now. There's some apologies need to be said, because honestly, some of the stuff I heard after I came on was absolute nonsense, and I actually said it was a good game. So, but
good,
anyway.
Good.
But I'm gonna put that to rest on my channel. I'm sorry, because some of them need to know that unfortunately not people are going to be happy clappers. I'm sorry, you know what I mean? Nonsense, absolute nonsense. The producer doesn't seem to like me anyway. Let's move on anyway.
Come on, Alex. We'll have you smiling by the end of this. So, Ian, I'm going to start with you, right? And usually, how I start these shows, I always go into the starting lineup, right? But it was very similar. The only difference was that Johnson came in. But what I want to start with today was Aston Villa's lineup. And the reason why I want to go to them is because they went and played a formation that they've never played this season. And they kind of completely changed their whole game plan for Tottenham.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't think you were going to ask me that. That question's come a little bit out of left field. But you're absolutely right. I mean, absolutely right. And they never looked comfortable with that back five all along. And I think I always like it when the opposition coach changes his tactics because he's scared of what you will do. I mean, one thing with Postecoglou, and it's his strength and it's his weakness, is he has such total faith in the way he wants to play the game and the way his teams will set up. The idea that he will change his tactics based on the opposition, I think is a complete anathema to him. And as an example, when he was at Celtic, he went to the Bernabeu and went head-to-head with Real Madrid. Now, they got picked off. I don't know, it finished 5-1, 6-1, 7-1, something like that in the end, because they were up against superior players. But if you look at the number of shots Celtic had and the amount of possession they had, I mean, he was just like the heavyweight boxer coming out slugging, and the hope that that one of the punches will land. So when Emery took that decision to go to good point. I saw that in the chat. Yeah, absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. Fantastic. The girls getting to the semi. So, all looking up for the club. But when Emery played that system, which it wasn't the fact that they had five at the back. It's the fact that you have five at the back. You don't have as many in midfield or up front. And there was a complete disconnect between that back five and the front two. And if you look at particularly how little service Ollie Watkins got today, I think that was shown in that starting lineup. But that's respect to us. Emery got scared of us, not the other way around, and the scoreline reflects that.
Justin, I want to bring you on that as well. Why did Emery change the tactics? You know, and probably let's be honest, probably the most important game now up until this moment for Villa to cement that top 4 place, and he completely changed it because I think even Spurs fans were surprised.
I think you know, I say in terms of Ajax, because obviously from their perspective, that's, you know, they're in a draw. I think they'll probably do that. But saying that, it is still quite a big game. And as you say, when you're going to sit there and go to toe-to-toe with Tottenham, you did sit there and think around and match up for it, because it's kind of what he did when he came to our place. He matched up.
Yeah,
you know, and he sort of took it, you know, we got the lead and then he picked us off really. So I was a little surprised. But saying that, I do feel the one thing that I found a little bit frustrating when I've heard people say is it's like it was Villa's biggest game of the season. It's like, but I'm not sure it was. And I wonder if, because they drew against Ajax, I'm wondering if Emery thought, I don't want to exert my players. I want them to do enough and then be ready for Thursday.
In the sense of their biggest game, what it was more of a sense of, this was 4th versus 5th, right? If, let's be honest, if they would have got the 3 points there, that's 8 points that we've got to make up, right? And if you watch Villa and Spurs' running, very similar teams. Like literally, we both have to play the top 3, right? At some point. I think our fixtures are slightly harder as well because we've got Newcastle, West Ham thrown in, where they've got Wolves and I can't remember, and then we've both got 2 teams in the relegation zone. So when we say this was them to cement it, and that's probably why up until this point it was massive for them.
I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying. I think it's more the time, the date. I think if this was, let's say, next weekend, I think it would have been a very different Villa. I think the timing of the game probably did us a favour in the Ajax matches. So I think, you know, regardless of that, Tottenham knew what they needed to do. It was an important game, and hats off to them. You know, okay, we'll probably come on to the red card in a moment, but they did what they needed to. And I totally agree with what Ian says. That, you know, one of the things that we have found, particularly with top managers, is that they don't change for their players. The players change for them. And if they don't change, they go. And I'm hoping now we're starting to see more of that, where these players are being told you either fit in and you make it work, or thank you very much, but you will be seeking pastures new. So I think that was the bit I suppose I was a little bit surprised about with Villa, the fact that they were trying to, you know, particularly as well when you see the games leading up to it, you know, when you saw us against Palace and against Wolves, where the team sort of, you know, Aston Villa are really, really good at that, you know, that counter-attacking, and it just seemed like that. It just seemed like it was almost like, if we can get out of this with a point, we'll be happy, which I was very, very surprised about. I hadn't expected to see that from Villa, but won't argue with it.
No, Marlon. Before you bring Alex in, can I ask Justin a question? And that's something that you alluded to, which was, if they'd have won today, Villa had won today, they would have been 8 points clear. And you would almost think from then on in, you know, they could rest players for some of the games if they wanted to focus on the Europa League, because Emery's won that twice, hasn't he? So did he not win that twice with Sevilla?
So no, so they're in the Conference League.
I think he won it Villarreal as well.
So it's the Conference League. It's the one the West Ham won. He's won the Europa League twice. This is Conference. This would be a new trophy for him. Yeah, this would be a new trophy.
So I just think, I mean, you know, Adrian says in the chat he got his tactics all wrong. I can't fathom what the game plan was. If it was, we're just going to try and avoid getting beat. I don't think you can ever play a game of football and set yourselves out.
Yeah, not like to be fair, how Villa normally do. And I must admit, I was surprised. But I think, to be fair, it was the timing. I reckon, because we've seen this with Tottenham. Let's not forget, Tottenham used to do this in years gone by, where we'd have European football come up, and we would struggle with Thursday, Sunday. So
this is Villa's first defeat, isn't it? On where they've had to play after Europe as well. I bet.
Yeah,
this is what was strange about the whole situation. But they did play more of their first team against Ajax.
Well, they had to, and interestingly, I think that was the key part. If you look at it, that to me is where the problem really came into it. I think for Villa, I think if Villa had won it like everyone expected, like 3-4, 5-0, then they would have probably brought a lot of them off, and then you know, had them fresher. But I think the problem was because it was a draw and it was a lot closer than Villa had anticipated. I think he had to, because a lot of them were on the bench as well, and he had to bring on these big guns to try and get that win. So I think the one thing I would say, which, you know, okay, it's nice that we got the win, but I do think the one difference being is that Emery, I don't think would have been overall fussed about top four like we are. Let's not forget, if Villa win a trophy, they're not going to sit there and go, oh no, we didn't get top four. Whereas we're going to sit there as fans going, we got top four, but we didn't get a trophy. So I think it's a bigger, this Thursday for Villa is far more important to me. I know that people will turn around and say,
his after-match comments, I would generally agree, because he basically said that the fans need to just bring it down a level. That's what he basically said after the game, because he thinks the fans and the players were too wound up for this game, and that's the reason why it ended it did. But let me just quickly bring in Alex before I get on to the next point. Alex, what did you make of Emery's tactics? Did it play into our hands, or was it a case of he overthought it like most managers do when they come to Spurs sometimes?
I think that's just Emery for you. He changes his tactics for certain things, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what that's the sort of manager he is, and that's it for me. I think it worked to our advantage. I think, yeah, definitely. But they did get into the game middle part of the first half.
Yes, I was just about to bring that up. Yeah.
But you know, towards the end, I think really our quick attacks kind of undone them, you know what I mean? And I think our pressing really done them as well, and I think we in every area we got them, and that's it for me. I think for me, Aston Villa are a team that and it's interesting that they really are looking at that the Europa Conference League, because I actually agree with them. I think that is very important for them, because I think it's important to win a trophy. I think for me, I wasn't that worried about this game, because even if we lost this game, I'm not bothered about top four. I'm not bothered about top four at all. You know what I mean? As long as we get Europe, I don't really care. I'd rather get any. I don't really care, because I don't see the point of us getting Champions League, because I've seen it before. So, but you know, so for me, well, no, it's true. I'm true. I'm not even.
Do you know what? I totally agree with him, because it's lovely being in there, and those nights are lovely, but we're never going to win it. Whereas if we're in the other one, we've got a better chance. You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, but I hear the argument, but I've seen it before. That's it. But on today, I just think we bossed it. We did boss it, and I've got to say that I think certain players look really good today. Like Sarr, for instance, looked very good today. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Basuma, I think he had an on and off good game. That's it. Maddison again, same thing as well. I think the three have to play at the moment for me.
As a threesome, I agree. Yeah. As a threesome, they are probably the most intertwined, and it works.
I'm still concerned about that front three. I have to be honest. I'm still concerned about that front three. I'm just not there with them. Other than Son.
We'll get to that, Alex, before you carry on, because I want to talk about the front three as the last bit. But what I want to talk... Go on.
But I do think the defence is good as well. I think the defence was good as well. I've got to give some credit to Van der Ven before he got injured, and also Jagusin when he got injured as well. I think he played as well. I think he was really good as well. I've been cramming for him to play. And I like the fullbacks as well. But yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's it for me.
Do you know what? That was a bit positive for Alex. But no, I want to bring up I want to bring up one negative, right, in this whole thing, right? Before we start talking about all the positives, I want to bring up one negative, right? Because it's been a common theme over the last couple of games as well, right? And Ian, I want to bring you on this one. Why are we only getting one shot on goal, one shot on target in the first half? There wasn't many. Again, this is like the second or third week in a row where we're not getting enough shots in the first, and we're not starting because I thought we controlled the first 15 minutes, and then we kind of let Villa back into it. But with all that control, we haven't really done anything with it, right? And I've heard people say that it's just slowly breaking them down, but is it a bit of a worry that we're not getting shots or many shots in the first half as we were weeks before that under Ange at the beginning?
I'm not really 100% sure why it's happening. I mean, I know how Ange likes to play because of watching Celtic up here, for 2 years. Ange's teams often struggled with the low block, and that's that's fine. But what's bothering me is the lack of speed and mobility, the lack of certainly ability to get the ball behind defenders quickly and early. I think, in fairness, Udogie, he was absolutely fantastic today, and he is a wonderful defender. But particularly once he got Werner on that flank, the number of times you watch him where he just isn't releasing the ball early enough. I think has been a concern for me. There's been a lot of sideways movement. We hold the ball. We did it a lot today. And when you look at it, I thought, wow, we're in control of this game. We're playing beautifully, but there was no end product. I mean, I'd like, a better tactician than me to put their finger on it. But it's absolutely clear that for whatever reason, whatever gets put in the tea at half time, the team comes out revitalised. Whether it's because we're fitter and we're waiting for teams to tire or not, I don't know. But we scored the first goal in 47 minutes, and that was my idea of real Ange ball. The ball went wide really quickly. Sark came onto it, and the ball was delivered really quickly into the box for a player running in. Now, quite often that player will be the player coming off the left wing, but it doesn't matter who it is because Maddison made the run. In fact, Maddison was coming increasingly deep in the first half to try and influence the game because he wasn't able to do it in his conventional, front number 8 position. Excuse me. But I don't know. I've been on, not with Alex so much, but I've certainly done a number of streams with Justin, who knows his stuff. There's some people in the chat as well that know this stuff. I'm not quite sure why it's taking us 45 minutes every game to actually get going. And the number of games, we've been behind in, like Palace and Brentford and what have you, home games, and gone on and won it. The good thing is today, not only did we not go behind, but we didn't concede at all in the whole game. But need to say Adrian. I think we need to move the ball quicker earlier. Fullbacks in particular need to move it. Alec wants to talk about the front three, which is fine. I think Deck is a serious liability in the way that we want to play because he keeps coming back and slowing the game back onto his left foot. I thought Johnson was outstanding today, but I know you want to bring that up later, Marlon. But
Justin, let's get back to the positive now, right? Again, 2 goals not in minutes, within 3 minutes, right? The last game we had 3 goals. Was it 3 goals within 10 minutes? Right. All right. Wolves, it didn't work, but Brentford again, 3 goals in 10 minutes. As soon as we get going, as Ian said, we're getting goals very quickly in succession and completely taking the game. Wolves, right? You just have to say it just didn't work, right? But it's worked in other games this year. And if we're being completely honest, it's not been. Today was good. Today was good, and it was good football. But in the previous ones, it wasn't good football. And it was kind of like, I'm just waiting for it to happen. Why is it now that Spurs are just doing this? Why is all of a sudden have we started just breaking teams in these 2 or 3 minutes and just completely getting the game done?
I think
what's changed?
I think when you look at it, it was a case of a bit of what Ian sort of said before. It could be a level of fitness, and I think as well, we perhaps maybe have to take certain games into context. Because obviously with Palace, we knew what the game plan was going to be with them. It was going to be a case of just they got the goal and then just pretty much stifle Spurs. And I think the moment the Spurs got that goal, you could see that they were then there for the taking. And I almost feel that from the moment that Tottenham start, it's almost as if there's this relentless nature about them. It's a case of they don't just get one and they settle. It's a case of let's get one, let's get 2, possibly 3. Let's just keep on going. Let's let's not rest. Because one of the things we've seen before, and if we go back to particularly the Wolves game at Molineux, when we were 1-0 up, we went 1-0 up very early and we just sat on it. And I think that is the key part. This is something that Andrew's trying to get out of the game. We saw it so many times last year where we would sit on games, you know, with maybe a 1-goal lead or things or a draw or something like that. Whereas what we're starting to see now is this idea of, if we get a goal, get another one. If we can get another one, get another one. Let's just get this done, because we've got this opportunity. We can take them out and we can make the game easier for ourselves. Because it feels like one of the things I will give Ange credit for is we are stopping that reclusive sort of coming back on ourselves. The amount of times we used to see, we would go 1-0 up and then all of a sudden out of nowhere they'd all come back, and he used to say, I'm not telling them to do it, I don't know why they're doing it. So I think he's finally getting it out of them, the whole situation of being able to say, no, you don't do that. Once you've got the goal, you go again, you go again, you go again, and you keep on going. And I think that's the whole point, because when we get that goal, it's almost like the opposition have to sort of refocus themselves. Whereas for Tottenham, we want another one. We don't want to sit. We don't want to like play out for another 5-10 minutes, something like that. No, we want that next goal. And I think from what we could see in spells in the first half, you know, that there was going to be those opportunities. And I think also as well, if we go back to the way that Villa set up, Villa weren't set up to attack that game. It was very much a case of realistically looking at it. I thought, if we can just take a point with half our team, we'll be happy. And I think the problem is, as anybody knows, when you go 1-0 down, you can't play the same way. You can't turn around. If you've set for a draw and you've gone 1-0 down, you're not going to go, well, we'll just carry on playing for a 1-0 defeat. You've got to come out and start to attack the game. And I think that's where Spurs, it really does work for them, because they know that the opposition aren't going to continue sitting back. They've got to go forward. So I think they pick it off very quickly to almost just take the game away from them, which once we get some better players in certain areas, I think will become devastating.
Alex, that brings me on because to you now, right? So I saw you shaking your head when Ian was speaking about Kulu, and you wanted to talk about the front three today, all right? So he obviously brought in Johnson for Werner, right? Because Johnson came off the bench last week and had such a great game. Let's be completely honest about it. He did, right? And he's come on today and he's part of this front three. But Kulu, even though he was part of the goals, he seemed to have that he might be a liability, as Ian said. Are you in agreement with that at the moment, and why?
I see what he does, and he gets into the right positions. Now, I've been at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and seen it for myself. But for me, and the people said, oh, well, people just don't understand what sort of player he is, and I just asked the question, what sort of player is he then? Because I don't get it.
So for me, for my next question is, right, because this is why I've said.
But Johnson played what? Johnson played well for his level. Did well.
Of course. Yeah, he did well.
But
we're talking about today. More. Yeah. We're talking about today.
Son was anonymous in the first half, but then you saw the quality what he did in the second half. You know what I mean? Werner, sorry, 2 tap-ins. He does do some good runs, and I've seen it again at the stadium.
To be fair to him, though, his goal today, we'll get on to that. His goal today was the first time he's actually thought about it and not missed. Usually he misses those.
Yeah, well, fair enough, but again, 27 years old, bruv. 27 years old.
I get it. I'm
German
not
international. That should be expected.
I know.
So, you know, and this is where
it was with 10 men, to be fair.
Exactly, 10 men as well. It was a good goal.
But again,
and Tottenham fans say to me, oh, we should give him a chance. Well, were you giving him a chance when he was at Chelsea? No, you wouldn't be saying that right now. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry. It's because he's at Tottenham. And I again say to people, well, I said on We Are Tottenham TV, he can't. We had the same issue with Bergwijn. Bergwijn was better than him. I'll tell you this for a fact. And we shot him out the club. So this is my argument. But the point is, I think the front three for me need to do more. And I think the problem is at the moment, and the same with Richarlison as well, because he has a purple patch and he hasn't scored anything in the teams in the top 10, well, top 4 or top 5 or whatever it is, right? If we had competition, right? I think they'll be struggling right now. You know what I mean? I think we need more quality in those positions at the moment. I just think that would help our team. I'm more less concentrate on the defense. It's more the attack because we're missing chances. I think that's more detrimental to us at the moment than us letting things at the back for me. You know, because I think Ange is about taking risks, and that's it for me. You know, and even though I'm not there with Ange. I gave him credit for sticking with his philosophy. I've gave him credit for it.
Mm.
I've said it on many channels as well. So that's all I need to say. Back to you, Marlon.
Ian.
Yeah.
Because you were mentioning about Kulu as well earlier, and he's becoming a bit of a liability.
Yeah.
My question is to you, and probably to JJ as well, if he wants to answer this afterwards. Ange keeps playing him. He won't take him off either. Unless it's an injury. He will play him. So what's Ange seeing that all the fans are going, nah?
There's no doubt Decky's a great player. You use the word liability. I've never called Decky a liability. I never would. I think he's far too good a player to be a liability at any side. My issue is, and I say, I know Ange Ball. I watched him play, 2 years at Celtic, and then watching him, for Tottenham. I think no one knows Ange Ball better than Ange Ball. I just worry sometimes with Decky's constantly moving onto the inside. Remember, part of the key to Ange Ball is playing the inverted fullbacks. So where he's coming into a space which is really for Porro to come into and exploit. I'm talking with my hands where no one can see me, but with the foot where the right-sided forward needs to be getting down the line and delivering with his right foot. Otherwise, the alternative is he comes in and the inverted fullback goes outside and plays almost like an orthodox right winger, which is, for example, the winning goal that we scored against Liverpool came from Porro putting in a right wing cross in the 96th minute of the game. I don't want anyone to think I think Decky's a liability. I don't. I'm just not entirely convinced he suits the system.
Would you try him on the left? Because that's one thing he hasn't tried with Decky. He's tried with the other left, other players, but he just hasn't tried him on the left. He tried him behind, and he puts him behind the striker as well, but he will not try him on that left.
I wasn't impressed with him playing behind the striker, I'll be honest. I think a lot of people think that's his natural role. Yeah, maybe, but I wasn't over impressed. Playing him on the left, why not? Absolutely, why not? And Israel Uncovered there says his work rate is phenomenal. I'm trying to remember, it was Luton away when after Bissouma was sent off, and his work rate was absolutely phenomenal.
Yes,
in that game when we needed an out ball, and players obviously playing with 10 for such a long period were getting tired. He was working and working and working. But Adrian says he's only 23, and I think that's right. But I saw people dissing Johnson, and I think I'm 64 years of age. I'm old enough to remember when you signed a player, and the assumption was it would take a year for them to settle in. Now in the modern game and with social media, someone doesn't deliver in the first 3 games.
Yeah,
they're written off as absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
Johnson, I just think Johnson's got every attribute to be a really top quality player. I think the one thing he lacked a little bit was, possibly still does, but a belief he was good enough to play for Tottenham.
And that seems to be the common theme with Johnson. I think a lot of people have said, especially people that are backing him, go, it just seems to be that he hasn't convinced himself that he's good enough to play here yet. And I give him, if he's finished today, right? And people will go, what are you talking about? Well, his finish today was incredible for him. And the reason why I'm saying for him is because a couple of weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, he would have probably missed that because he wasn't feeling himself.
Yeah.
But the last couple of games, I don't know if it's the impact or something's been said, but he seems to be coming into himself a little bit.
Well, I couldn't agree more. And I think, there'd be people telling him, I know you saw some comments in the press, maybe, someone's had a word with Sonny and to big up, to big up, Brennan Johnson. He, for me, is starting to really show that he now believes he's good enough, and his performances on the pitch. I think the last 2 or 3 weeks have been brilliant. He was my man of the match today. I know you usually ask that last, but I thought Johnson was really excellent today. I think he was causing them the first half, causing them so many problems down the right side of their defence, winning challenges, getting past defenders, trying to get balls in, which is exactly what we want. And he's another young man that I think is only going to improve. And it really does piss me off, something rotten, that people were dissing him as 40 million down the toilet after 3 or 4 games. I mean, it really is ridiculous. The modern social media world has a lot to answer for. Johnson will be a top player for this club over the next 10 years.
JJ.
So, Marlon, quick question to Marlon. Did you think he was worth 40 million?
Who, Johnson?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's. I think the 30 million that Brentford were going to pay for him is probably the right price.
Okay, no, that's fine. It was just obviously Ian was saying, how dare anybody question that he's worth that, and I thought I'd just ask. Sorry, carry on. You were going to ask
because but you're thinking that he was the only one I haven't actually dissed, and on all the programs we did, he's the only one I didn't. With Charleston, I did. Werner, I did. I still do, but Johnson's the only one I've stuck by. Trying to get 30. Me there.
About 30.
About 30. But he was. The fact we paid 45, I'd never understand. But we did. He's here, and I'm going to support him no matter what. Right? But my question is to you, right, is the back four. How great was it to see Porro and back there today, and even Dragushin getting on and actually fitting in like a glove, right? Does this prove, right, that actually this is where the club did go slightly wrong by getting rid of Sanchez at the end, probably not bringing another defender, because Dragushin's came on today, right, and he's literally, the defenses still look solid. It didn't look out of place. We haven't had to put Davis or Royale there. Porro's come back in. It just looked, do you know what? It just brought back some good memories.
I will say no to the part about Sanchez, because I think the club, we've got to now be ruthless. The amount of times we've heard, we've kept a player because we've got nobody else.
It's not the Sanchez part. It's more in he should have been replaced.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of that, absolutely. Someone like Dragushin should have been in before he arrived, and absolutely, I agree with that. And I think also as well, when it comes to Pedro Porro, I think there needs to be a backup to him, a bit like with, Destiny Doji. I think there needs to be a backup to him. I would probably say there. I wouldn't be so fussed. I know they're looking at centre-backs, but it'd almost be a case of those three and possibly Davies could be the ones that they go with if it means we get full-backs instead. Because what I do see, particularly, looking at that, for me, was the fact that, as you rightly said, that was our main four. And then when Van der Ven went off, if we all remember against Chelsea, we were like, oh my God, this is all going to go horribly wrong. Dragushin comes in and it doesn't change anything. And I think, this is the whole point. This is what we now need, is players like this, that it's like, right, this is the plan. It's the same plan. It's just another player fits in if somebody's injured. I don't think it needs to ultimately matter. But what I would say is that particularly the fullback area, I do feel that, Sessegnon and Royal are just not going to be good enough. I know that people are saying, Sessegnon's, however old he is, but unless in 10 weeks when he comes back, he's going to absolutely light up the Premier League, I don't see how he can be the competition for Udogie. I do believe we need to go out and get big, because once we get those positions right, as in the main ones plus the backup, as we see, we then have it fit in like that, where it's just like, fitting a glove, rather than us sitting there and having to put square pegs in round holes.
Harry, welcome.
Hello, how are we?
Good. So at your mic, it seems to be like really loud. If you can. But why you're in and why we're speaking very positive about Spurs defense today, right? Was it great to see Porro back? And was it great to see when Van der Ven did come off, and hopefully the injury is not too long, and just said hopefully it's not as serious as the first one, that Dragushin comes in fits in like a glove.
Yes, listen, let's be clear. It's great to see Porro back on the pitch. It was a big reason. I think while we've done so well, we miss him, his creativity, also getting back. So yeah, that was massive. And then, yeah, as you said, Dragston, is great to see him get that opportunity. Of course, no, I'm not. If you, it's great to see Dragston get a chance. But Van der Ven, his heart and mouth moment when you see him go down. So I hope he'll be okay. I hope he will be. I think it'd just be something where he's felt something and it's more a precaution. I think it's a training session or two. I'm sure he'll be back next weekend for Fulham. So yeah, it's good to see Dragston. Maybe you stick with Dragston against Fulham and you give Van der Ven another week just to be sure. That's the privilege we've got, if you like, with three strong centre backs. But I've obviously just had half the conversation that Justin was saying, and he's absolutely spot on. We need a strong backup for a Doggy. We can't rely on Sessegnon or anybody else or Emerson in that position. If we're serious next season and want to go to that next level, because we've done that, I think, with the centre back, got a third strong centre back. We need to do that for me, both left and right side, but in particular that left side. So let's hope we do that. But yeah, great to see Porro back. Great to see Dragston on the pitch as well, and great to see Werner come on, Bensko come on, etc. So it's great. I think the substitution's done really well today. So complete performance ended with Matty Cash on the floor as well. So it couldn't have been any better.
Harry, I'm just going to stick with you before I get everyone's view on the next point.
Yeah.
Front three, because you missed this part of the conversation. The front three, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously we only had one shot in the first half. Again, the first half's looking a bit ropey, right? But we're getting the job done, and we're looking like in the second half completely. Look, we controlled the game, right? Which was completely positive, and we didn't allow Villa in. But Villa obviously changing formation was a big thing today, so the reason why we were able to do it. But we've done a professional job. But the front three seems to be still the thing that everyone's still talking about. How did you think the front three played?
Yeah, I thought it was a bit. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it really stood out to me. And I put something out at half time on X, actually. I just said that for me, it looks like Johnson and Son never played together. Obviously, as we know, that was later proved completely incorrect. And that's why Ange Postecoglou is a manager, Brendan Johnson's a player. And I'm not either of them because they clicked, didn't they, in that second half. Typical. So I'll say that again next time for Fulham. I have to remind myself to do that. But, it's good to see. But yeah, we said this for so many times, haven't we? I remember coming on the show with Mourinho, with Conte, with Ange, with Mason, and going the front three isn't clicking. So it seems to be a kind of permanent thing. But all that matters is we won the game, we played well, and like you said, Villa were worried about us. That's the first time they've at home, Villa Park, played a back five. They're worried about us, and they had to move players in different positions, and they were clearly worried. But for me, we got the first goal. Villa fatigue kicked in, and I kind of thought in your head, a lot of us played 90 minutes on Wednesday. But no, it was a really good performance. Front three, not quite clicking, if I'm being honest with you. But we have options off the bench with Werner, and obviously comes on the scores. I think now he's got that first goal, he'll really push on. And I think he'll score a few more for the end of the season, which is nice. But yeah, not quite clicking yet. But obviously, we're still early into the project. We're doing well. And for me, that's the best performance I've seen, I think, so far this season. The closest to that was the first half against Chelsea. So more of this, please. And yeah, we do well.
Alex, I'm going to ask you all the same question now, right? And then I've got one more question for you, all of you after as well. So it's got two more questions left, but I wanted to ask it. Alex, who for you was the best player on the pitch today in your eyes, and why?
Sarr.
Yep.
Sarr, because I think he makes the midfield tick for me.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, he needs another season for me, because this is not good enough. It's not good enough to just do one season. I've seen it from other players and other teams as well, to be balanced, and that's it for me. And I think he makes Basuma look good, because I don't think Basuma and Maddison have been playing well recently. But yeah, I think if you want me to answer the question, it would be Sarr for me. I think Udoji's got something about him, yeah, and I'm impressed. I still skeptical what he's going to do next season. I thought Van der Ven was actually not that bad as well. I think we're going to have injury problems next season with him. Got to be honest, because the Ange injury is going to pop every single time. It's going to pop every single time. I think we need a defender in. I'm sorry, I'm fed up with hearing about backups. I'm hearing it again. Backups don't work for me. Players that can compete. That's the whole point. I'm fed up with this backup. Backups are Emerson Royale, bang average. Højbjerg, bang average. That's backups for you. You know what I mean? So I'm not hearing this word backup. And by the way, I'm not the only one saying it. Your favourite Ange Postecoglou says the same thing I'm saying. By the way, you know what I mean. So I'm not just saying this. You know what I mean. So but yeah, to answer the question, Sarr, yeah, man of the match for me. That's it for me.
Before I move on to Ian, everyone in the chat, I would like to know who you thought your man of the match was today, because I think it's going to be a few players in between that deserved such a great, because it wasn't more than just one player, but I just thought I want to get everyone else's opinion as well. So Alex has gone with Sarr. Ian, I'm coming to you next.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There was a lot of very, very good performances out there today. You know, Porro played really well. Udogie played really well. Van der Ven, before he was had to go off, was exceptional. That pace is just is almost frightening. Maddison quiet's first half, but excellent second half. Agree. Sarr was just magnificent. I thought he was magnificent. But for me, Johnson, as I say, he's taken so many brickbats and what have you from supporters. Some of it really unfair. I thought he looked dangerous every time he got the ball. He was attacking, doing what he was brought to do, which was attacking defenders, attacking fullbacks, beating defenders, and trying to create, and got a goal for his trouble. I think he's only going to get better and better. Johnson for me, but there was a lot of very good performances out there, and special mention to Dragusin. That was the first time he's really come on and had an extended role, and I thought he was excellent. Really pleasing performance.
JJ.
I'll go with Joji, because I thought the one thing he did do was he gave Villa an absolute torrid time, and he made that job easier for Johnson, because when you've got it like as he has, in the way that he was getting up and down those channels, and as we saw, the only way that McGinn was going to stop him was literally just taking him clean out, just literally booting him, you know. So to me, I sort of have to look at that, because when you've got somebody in there who is making other players look good, and you know, and I think that's why, you know, I can see why Alex was saying about Sarr, because it helped make others look good, you know, and I felt that was what Udogie did in terms of for Johnson. He sort of gave him the opportunity to be free, not having to worry about anything else. You know, and I just think for 90 minutes, you know, it wasn't a case of, you know, poor first half, great second half. He was constant throughout, you know, and I just feel that, you know, and it was obviously lovely as well, because he made Matty Cash look absolute crap, which is always a beautiful thing to see. You know, I mean, to be fair, I was after him to give Bentancur the man of the match just for the boot he gave on him, but that's neither here nor there. But no, for me, it'd be Udogie.
Harry.
Yeah, there's a lot of star performance, as Ian says. I agree with Justin in terms of Udogie. For me, he ran the show. I agree again with Ian in terms of, I thought Johnson was really good. Obviously gets a lot of unfair criticism, as we all know. So part of me really wants to give it to him. But for me, I give it just about to Pape Matisseau. I think we've missed, who come in and run the show. You know, lots of energy, really good. That cross, by the way, that's sensational. That's a proper winger's cross. On the money, absolutely spot on. And of course, Maddison needs to still finish it, but it's a case of, yeah, the credit goes to Sarr rather than Maddison with that one. But yeah, I thought there was a lot of star performance. Werner was good when he came on, even Højbjerg was good when he came on. So generally, you know, 5-star performances from everyone in that team. But if I had to choose, Son's got to be in there as well, but it'd be just about Sarr. But yeah, that's being harsh to a lot of players in that team.
I'm just going to add my 2 pences in it, and I think one person's already. I thought Romero for the last couple of games has been absolutely fantastic, and he's doing it. So, and the thing is, and the reason why is because his performances they're becoming standard now. He ain't being this rash kind of guy. He's making sure that defense is shored up. And the last couple of games, you can see it with the performances. Palace couldn't break us down. He's level. He's so level-headed at the moment, and it's created such a great thing for Porro to go forward. Udogie can then play his game. Van der Ven has been absolutely brilliant, but Dragusin came on today, and like I said, he fitted in like a glove, because Romero is so calm and stable. But that, for me, I think Romero isn't getting enough credit for his last couple of games, and that's just my opinion
But
on
Marlon, just to come back to you on that one,
Go
I
on.
can see your point. I can
Yeah.
see your point. But is it that the fact that he played Crystal Palace, which we should have beaten, we should be beaten?
No, yeah, but you see where Eze played against Palace, right? He didn't play against Royale. He played against Romero, right? And
He scored.
Marlon. It was a free kick that Benson scored given away.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but
what did Eze do? What did Eze do outside that?
Romero I agree what you're saying.
So
but the point I'm making is
everyone's looking for excuse.
But Eze was 40% fit. Yeah, he still caused problems. Isn't that saying something?
But I see your point, Marlon. I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion because you're not someone that will just say it just to be pleasing. You do say some good things. So I'm not. You know what I mean?
But you're going to tell me no, Alex. Go on.
So I'm not having a go at you. But and it's a good one. I see it. But I just think for me at the moment, Aston Villa, let's be honest here, weren't really going to attack, even though it's a good result. So, I will give him that. I will give you that, and I see what you're saying.
Watkins beat him once, which was that first bit where when Van der Ven mistimed the attack? Well, not mistimed attack. He got the ball, but kind of went over it. That was the first, and that was the only time Watkins had beat him. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you look at what Watkins did today. Romero played well up against him. That's all I'm saying. But people just are not sitting. And I just thought to be fair, I think he's been playing all right. That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah, I hear you. But it's just that I just think my standards is up there with him right now because I think because the thing is though, if we're going to start saying he's got to be consistent, I think I'm harsh with him because if he's going to be this centre back like Van Dijk at those stages, he's got to do it season in, season out, and he's captain as well.
So basically, you lot are putting him on. So what you lot guys are saying, and so I can understand, you lot are putting him on a higher pedestal than what he's currently playing. Because you want putting him on his highest
pedestal. If they're putting him on his highest pedestal, I'm saying that and comparing him to like Van Dijk, well, you've got to be doing it consistently and no excuses. Not saying, "Oh, I don't like this manager, don't want to play for him anymore." You know what I mean? So, but I hear your argument though, Marlon, because I know you don't just say things. You know what I mean? So,
So anyway, so let me get on to this last question, right? Because was today, and Alex, I'm going to start with you, right? Was today a turning point in the season for Spurs to start? Well, not start. Maybe. Look, I hate to say it, right? And I know you've already mentioned it, but is this the starting point, and this is going to be the run for us to get full spot?
Possibly, but I don't think we're going to learn anything from this season. I think I think the only thing that I'm learning at the moment is that some players are just not doing not enough for me. And the reason why I say it is that Ange has made it quite clear this is on the players. He's made it quite clear. He said, I've given the system, I gave you the structure, now it's up to you now to express yourselves. And unfortunately, I don't see a lot of them expressing themselves. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Yes, today was okay, but it worked well for us because there was a sending off as well. I've got to be honest. I think he was unlucky. We're going to get sent off. I've got to be honest because I've seen that every single game in Mumford Sundays, and that's not a sending off.
Look, what happened with Matty Cash at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
Fair enough. But I'm just
swings and roundabouts.
Because when I first saw it, I didn't think it was a sending off. I thought it was a yellow card all day long.
Yeah,
but when I saw the red card, it was a shock to me. But my point is, I think at the moment, you know my thoughts already, right? I'm not judging it on this season. I'm judging it on next season, the following season after that.
Of course.
Right?
And if you want to go see what Mr. Box Office really thinks, go to his channel and there will be the breakdown later on.
Fair enough,
right.
But yeah.
Go on.
But that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I think at the moment, I see what people are saying, but we've seen this under Conte. And we saw this under certain things as well. Like the target was top 4 with Conte, you know, and we've gone for it with Conte. This is the same thing this season. Yes, it's early in the season, but we only can judge it next season. You know what I mean? Because then we'll see whether they keep with what Ange wants to do. What I can definitely see from what I'm seeing is a plan from Ange. Whether this is going to be long term, I don't know at the moment. You know, that's my thoughts at the moment.
Harry, I'm going to come to you next. Justin, I'll
Yeah.
come to you. And Ian, I'm going to let you have the last word. So, Harry, was this a turning point today? Is this now going to be a momentum to get us over the line to fourth? And the reason why I'm saying that, because you didn't hear earlier, Villa's games are very similar to ours, and Man United are obviously Man United.
Yeah, that's very true. We're Tottenham, I suppose, as well. You know, we do that against Villa.
Exactly,
then against Fulham, it wouldn't surprise me if we come away with nothing. So yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. No, it really wouldn't. Well, yeah, there you go. What'd you expect? But no, listen, it's a statement performance, a statement win today. You know, I'm not going to say turning point or anything like that because we're really good at the start of the season, but you know, totally, we've come on top at the 6 points and top four is in our hands now with tough fixtures. You go into that with confidence. A win changes a lot. So yeah, no, it was massive today. Not just the score line and the result, but it's the performance and the manner we done it when we controlled before the red card. And Arsenal fans try and tell me it would have been a different story of the red card. No, it absolutely wouldn't have. We controlled the game. We were very good and got his substitutions right. We were the better team. Villa fatigue kicked in from the week. Yeah, we can't help that. It's not our fault. Played into our hands. So I'm very impressed with what we see. And you know, I don't think we will get top four, but we've now got a chance, a bigger chance than we had before. With that game in hand, no, I don't think we will, Marlon. I've got to be honest. I think we're still a long way away, and I think I can see us losing a few more games this season. But I hope I'm completely wrong. But I've got more confidence now. We've beaten Villa, which obviously helps going into those bigger games. Though I don't think we get top four. I'll give us a chance, Marlon. I don't write us off in any single game, and that's what I like about this team. Give us a chance. Like, you get City at home, Arsenal at home, Liverpool away. I go. Probably not going to get anything, but I'll give us a little bit of a chance because if we play the way that Ange wants us to play, then we have a chance. But yeah, no, it could be. You could well say it could be a turning point today. It's a good win. We see Fulham, Craven Cottage under the lights. Can we do it? I'm not convinced.
We will see. I'm very surprised by your answer, but very clear and precise. Justin, you come on.
I think in terms of the season. I think I agree with what Harry's saying. We've seen this so many times. It kind of feeds onto what Alex is saying, is that, you know, it doesn't matter what about the turning point of this season. It's going to be what comes to next season because, you know, whether we get top four or not, we saw it, you know, when under Conte, you know, we had that brilliant one, got into top four. Oh, my God, now it's going to be amazing. And then we had one of the worst seasons we've had in ages. So, it's one of those ones that's very difficult to say yes or no because Harry's right. You know, we could go to Fulham and stink the place out. So you really don't know what's going to happen there. It's an opportunity because we are now only playing one game a week. So, you know, tiredness, fatigue, that doesn't come into it. It is just going to be poor planning. And I do hope that, I can't remember who said it, but I think it was Ian actually said about the fact that the Ange has set the system up and he's now basically saying to the players, you've got to make this work. You've got to prove that you can do it because I will replace you, as he's done with so many. It's like, nope, you're not good enough, out the door. And I just hope with everything that has gone on that, yes, it is a kick on, but not only for this season, but the clubs start acting like the big club they say they are and compete for the likes of whether it be Neto, Vlahovic, whoever. You know, they need to be the ones they're going for to show that Tottenham finally can go for the big games.
Forget Neto, he's injury prone.
Well, just using that example because
I know
with Liverpool and people like
Eze is a good example for me. I think that's one that's a good example.
Chiesa.
£100 million though, we don't do them.
Chiesa, 60.
Ian, I'm going to leave you with the last word because you're someone who's watched Ange Ball, and I also watched Ange Ball, because Celtic a bit of my Scottish team as well. But is this a turning point for Spurs going forward? Because this is the first time that we can say we've had all our players back and actually perform very well with it. Mute. Hold on.
I hope so. Funny enough, Adrian said something in the chat maybe half an hour ago about that Solomon will play a part, and I mean I tend to agree with that. I don't know how far he is away from fitness, but I think he's got the game to hurt teams going forward. Did I hear Alex right? Did you say that the red card was harsh?
I thought it was harsh when I first saw it. I thought it was harsh. For me,
I wouldn't have been surprised if he'd been given his yellow because he's not showing any studs. It's a stupid challenge, but I must admit I'm kind of
well, I've seen. The thing is, though, if we're going to do that as a red card, I need to see it every single week consistently. That's my argument. That's my argument.
Yeah, all right. I won't get too into that because I think it's not what you've asked me. I just had to pick up on that because I thought it was a shocking challenge, an absolutely shocking challenge, and a red every day for me. But regardless of that, we were in control of that game. That game was won, whether McGinn stayed on the pitch or not. We've had a couple of false dawns, as others have said, and the last thing you think, because around before Christmas, I thought, players were keeping in there, hanging in there. When the players come back from, the Asian Games and the African Cup of Nations, we'll be cooking. All of a sudden, it didn't happen. And even when they came back, we lost a couple of games. I was on with you after the Brighton shambles. I mean, all you can say that we look like players had never played the game before, never mind played with each other before. I expect us to kick on. I've expected us to kick on more than once, but we've got the squad back. All the players were looking really, really comfortable and confident. Romero, people have talked about him. Udogie gets better every week. Porro's just Porro. We found a great goalkeeper. I expect us to kick on, and I will be really disappointed and a bit surprised if we don't make top four. I would be really surprised and disappointed if we don't make top four. I've always felt Ange would get that for us at least. My big disappointment is we went out of 2 cups so tamely, because we do need to win things. Top four can't be the sole ambition of this club. We're far too big a club for that. And I've been at a lot of Wembley Cup finals from since 1971, a lot, and I want to go to more.
Thanks for rubbing it in, Ian. Yeah, thanks. None of us have. All of us, No, but you know what, Ian, your answer was exactly what I was expecting from Harry as well. I'm very surprised with Harry, but he's been on this channel for too long now. I think we're getting into it. But however, Ian, thank you very much, and thank you for coming on today.
Pleasure. Always
Please
a pleasure.
go to @Shaggy1712 at Twitter to find Ian, and hopefully we will see you soon. Justin, again, you're on Twitter as well and Instagram. Again, your name is in the handle. Anyone who doesn't know Mr. Box Office by now, please go over to his channel. Please go over and subscribe and watch, and also go over to We Are Tottenham TV and see his rant today, and then go watch his reply. that correct? Because I haven't seen both yet. I'm going to watch it afterwards.
Yep.
But Alex, thank you as always for coming on. Absolute pleasure. Harry, co-host, also on Scarfy. I always forget your name. I don't know.
Go on.
Scarfy Spurs Talks, isn't it? Yes.
You know that.
Yeah, streaming on there. Please make sure you go over to Harry's channel and stream.
Marlon, Adrian asked a question in the chat. If you, I can't remember, I don't know his first name. If you were related to an old Spurs player by the
He did. He answered it.
No, not as far as I know.
Sorry if I missed it.
No worries.
Yeah. And also, obviously, Scarfy's on here. He'll be back on Friday. Yeah, Friday for the preview show.
Can I apologise for last Friday for hacking the show?
Don't apologise to Hazm, TJ for that.
That was great.
Also, I want to say, everybody that's joined us this evening, thank you very much in the chat. You've actually kept it going. There's been a lot of questions, a lot of half and half as well, which has been absolutely brilliant, and always love to chat when you're all responsive like this. Thank you to all of you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Make sure you're back on Tuesday for Ashmatics analysis, because that's what everyone always comes for. That's Tuesday at 9:30. And if you are a rival fan or you like to figure out what the rivals think of us, please come and tune in at 9:45 on a Wednesday for Haz and Ashmatic, where they are with the rivals. But anyone who's joined us from when Ash was on our last word on Spurs, thank you for coming over. Ash, as I said, will be back Tuesday. And anyone who's watching it on their TV right now and who's not subscribed, please make sure you go on your mobile and subscribe to us. But as always, in Ange we trust, and come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs.